wonderful episode of Spill the Tea. I've got our Spill the Tea sign here. Spill the tea.
Half my top.
we are, my name is Merrill Catlin. I'm the owner of MakeATeeOnline, and we have Guillermo Ayon, our graphic designer, and our special guest today, Mark Savant from Savant Media. Or is it Mark Savant Media? But that is the face with the name Savant Media. And we're going to talk about AI today and how AI affects the apparel industry, building websites, doing marketing, and whatever Mark is going to inform us with, because his knowledge is extensive in AI. And I really believe that this is going to be a great session here with Mark. So, Mark, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that you work very hard and you are work during the day and you've got your night podcast at night. And so before we start, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me here, Meryl. I live down here in sunny South Florida. This is the place to be. This is the place to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
I run a podcast production agency. I help business owners launch and automate podcasts. And we also manage the marketing, the media, the sales process as well. Because we just think that podcasting is the best way to create content at scale, from your blog, your emails, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your email list, your YouTube, all that. We just do everything off that one podcast. And AI has really transformed me. It's transformed my business. I started using AI in my business about 16 months ago. I had lost a key team member. You gotta love that. And I did what most business owners do, and I started to freak out, and I started to do the work myself. I was overwhelmed. I wasn't sleeping well. My wife was not happy. It wasn't a good situation. But then something happened. I started using AI in that workflow, and I cut my time spent by 90%.
Wow.
90%. What used to take an hour took less than 5 minutes. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This is big. I started training my team. When I found someone to replace that person, I trained them how to use the AI. And 4 months later, I left my day job and I went all in on my agency. So I've personally been touched by the power of AI. And I just feel like I have a duty to relay the best practices so that people can feel that freedom and feel the power of AI and automation in their lives and businesses.
Okay, awesome. I know from my end, dealing with local businesses and people that we print for, people are a little bit scared of AI. They feel that it's invasive, and first thing they come up with is the negatives. I personally don't like to dwell on anything negative. I like to just think of the positives that technology offers us, as opposed to like hating something before we find out that it's really taken over. What do you ever get that? Also, people are afraid of it.
Yes, and you should be. You should be afraid of it. You should have a healthy respect and fear of AI, because it's going to transform the way that our entire world works. And so what does the back end of that change look like? Nobody really knows for sure. I mean, the World Economic Forum is predicting 80 million jobs displaced within the next year. The largest consulting group in the world, McKinsey, anticipates 30% of the global workforce is displaced over the next 5 years. Walmart plans to automate 63% of their stores within the next 2 years. So when you start to, by the way, Walmart is the largest employer in the United States. And if Walmart's doing it, other stores are going to do this too. And realty. What am I talking about here? These retail stores are one of the, that's the number one employer of people in the United States. So you're looking at a total upending of all of our businesses, our structures, copywriting, image generation, video creation. You saw the SAG-AFTRA strike in Hollywood because the writers are concerned about their jobs. The actors are concerned about streaming. The whole world looks very different. And to me, the most dangerous thing, the most risky thing you can do is not change and just say, oh, I'm going to just sit back, and I'm not saying that you need to drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak, but if you're not using any of these AI tools, if you're not using any of these new systems, if you're still trying to be found in the yellow pages, for example, the world has kind of changed. So What I try to do here with talks like this or with my podcast, After Hours Entrepreneur, is say, well, what's new? What's fresh? What's the right fit for my business? What's the right way to use these structures in my business?
Okay. Okay. So when we had asked you to join us on this podcast, I did ask you to take a look at the apparel industry and some of our web stores. People have their stuff on Etsy. They've got their stuff on Shopify. They have their stuff with MakeATeeOnline. Our software that we use is called Deco Network. So we build these stores also, these brands for people. What is it that I hope that you got a chance to take a look at least some of it, because I know it's a lot to, to throw on you and say, how does this work? But when we build our stores, what would be the best way to help build the stores and also with online marketing for different brands? That's a really broad question, but
Well, so I think there's a few things to look at, and we could certainly look at some case studies as well.
okay.
I think most importantly, when someone lands on a website, we don't want to overwhelm them with too much, right? Listen, I know that our business does a lot of different things, but generally there's one thing that our business does really good, or maybe there's one, like for example, when you log into Netflix, for example, you're going to see there's one thing they really want you to watch. It's like it takes up about 75% of your screen. That's the new show that you need to watch.
Right.
And it's similar on your website. When you land on someone's website, you want it to be clear, like, what's the first thing I want you to do? So when I go to MakeATeeOnline, for example, and I'll kind of share my screen. We can kind of look at your company here.
Okay. Be nice.
I will. I think that you've done a good job here. So I just want to, So like when we look at your website here, for example, it becomes clear that the first thing we want to do is start designing. Like this is like your main, this is what we call your main call to action above the fold.
Right.
Above the fold. Above the fold. This is the fold here. That's the point where you need to scroll down to see more. And on your website, you want to make sure that there's a clear button on above the fold. And obviously you have other stuff up here, which makes sense for marketplace stores like this. The other thing that's interesting that you have here, which frankly, I think is a place where AI is really going to start to shine, where it's already starting to shine, is chatbots on your landing page.
Is that good?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, because we live in the one thing that we've gotten from the phone is we can get whatever we want, whenever we want it, wherever we are. It's pretty freaking amazing that I can order. I'm going skiing next week. I ordered some gloves on Amazon. They were there the same day. I didn't have to leave my house.
Wow. Wow.
It's
crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, like you could get anything you want, like almost instantly. And so what that does is that trains us as humans to say, I want it now. I want it now. I want it fast. And if, for example, if I land on a website and I'm not sure where to start, if I'm not sure what to do first, I might bounce. I might leave that page. But if a pop-up pops up and says, well, how can I help you? And it's actually engaging, it gives me a good experience, that's going to leave me, every minute that I'm there, the greater my chance of purchasing. Right.
Got it. Right. Right.
So the key is how do we
right?
execute something like this the right way that makes people feel heard, qualified, and wanting to stay.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Okay.
Because that's the problem with chatbots is typically it can be a frustrating experience. It's not, it's saying like, did we give you all the answers that you look for? No, you didn't give me. So that's not good. So, but AI I think is unique because it's able to say, well, based on your answer here, oh, you're looking for a kid's shirt. What's the event? Oh, it's for a birthday party. Cool. What is your kid like? Tyrannosaurus Rexes? Great. Here's some images of Tyrannosaurus Rexes that have been AI generated you could put on your t-shirt, right?
So you can do that. You can do that through AI. You can hook up those answers through AI through your chat box.
Through a chat, but there's ways that you could do it. Sure. There's ways you could do it. ChatGPT, for all the pro members can generate images instantly, and you could create your own GPT right in OpenAI ChatGPT. You create a chat bot that could perform something like that. Sure.
Really? Wow. Okay, so what you said was you can create a chat bot, add it somehow, which I don't know how to do that, but I guess people like you know or other people know, add it to the chat. This chat actually connects to our Facebook page.
Sure.
That's how we have that. I don't know if that's a good thing to do. I know there's like Zendesk, there's all these other companies that can be chats also, but this actually goes to our Facebook page. So I'm assuming that Facebook would be able to add that type of AI technology as well.
You know, to be frank, I wouldn't be able to walk through the exact specifics, but I will say this: Meta is investing heavy in AI. They've already given you the ability to use AI in all sorts of different experiences, whether it's generating images or text on posts and stuff like that. So there's no doubt in my mind you'll be able to execute that exact sequence very, very soon, if not already.
Okay, that's very cool. That's something really that everybody listening needs to take note of, because there are certain things that we will find about AI that we didn't expect or we didn't assume that would be able to help us. That's a really big one, because even though it's an open chat, we're not always staring at our phones or staring at our our communication methods all the time, because we're making shirts and we're making printing and we're doing stuff. So if they get an automatic answer, that would be great. That'd be great. Now, do I guess humans still have to set up those automatic answers, correct?
To an extent. So you need to give prompts, right? So I'm going to share ChatGPT, which to me, if anyone is new in the AI space, I think ChatGPT is a great place to start. It's very well funded, easy to use, tons of features, constantly being uploaded. It's got like a $90 billion valuation. So they're all in on AI. It's kind of the gold standard right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of different things you could do. But for example, they recently, like a month ago, released what we call the GPT store. And the GPT store is basically a place where you can program and create your own AI chatbot, your own what they call a GPT. So for example, I have a podcast consultant GPT. So if you have any podcasting questions about how to start, how to generate income, etc., you can use my podcast consultant GPT that I've programmed with all of my information, right? I've uploaded all my PDFs, training documents, recommended equipment, frequently asked questions. So I've trained it with these prompts so that it gives the user a better experience, right?
Wow. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
But you could also do this in the idea of image generation, right? Right. So I'll give you an example here. And by the way, to get access to all these features, it's $20 a month to be a ChatGPT Pro member. $20.
Really? So so ChatGPT, is that like one main GPT site to go to? Because I know like Bing has it and Google has it. Like, is there like just one domain to go to sign up to get all that?
Well, this gives you access to the open AI large language model. There are others out there, right? Google Bard and Grok is another one. So there's a bunch of different models, but the ChatGPT model, that's actually an interesting question, Meryl. We don't know who's going to have the best model, because your AI is only as good as the data that it's trained on.
Gotcha.
Right? So for example, if your data is trained on, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of scientific research papers, that information is going to be more valuable than that AI large language model is probably going to be more valuable than an AI bot that's been trained on a bunch of Reddit posts, for example.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So the input that goes into it is going to directly affect the output that you get. Right.
So I have a question. A buddy of mine came up with the screen printing GPT. So basically, I guess I'm assuming that he kind of did something similar to what you did by training the GPT to be like just, like focused on your industry where he's having it focused on screen printing? Is that the same type of a thing?
It could be. I need to hear more about what he's doing.
Okay.
But the possibilities are endless with GPTs. It works for any industry, right?
Okay.
Any and every industry. Like, they do not. I do not believe there's an embed feature on this yet, which is disappointing because I'd love to be able to embed my podcast consultant on my website. Um,
Okay.
but I think it's a good intro into using it. But you can see that when you go into Chat GPT and you see the GPT store, there's a
Right.
ton. There's a ton that have been created by users just like you and me. Like, for example, the image generator, a GPT specialized in generating and refining images with a mix of professional and friendly tone image generator. Canva has an image generator. Logo Creator has an image generator. So you can see the top 3 trending GPTs revolve around image generation right now.
Got it. Got it. Okay, that's awesome. I know like for us, Canva is almost like a no-no because we don't think that the images are high resolution enough for printing purposes. And basically people who have free Canva, they supply us with what I call crap and then expect us to, do something with it. And we cringe when we see it. But I'm assuming that I guess the paid version or whatever is going to be a little bit more technology um, quality, high quality, but I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, that's my thought. That's my thoughts on Canva. But what about like the logo generator? Is that something, or logo creator? Is that something that you could ask for a high quality logo for printing
Well,
purposes?
I mean, listen, we can do this in real time. I'm not familiar with this GPT. If it's top 3 on their marketplace, it's probably pretty good. So let's click on
Uh-huh.
it. Let's see what it looks like. Because quite frankly,
Mm-hmm.
the vast majority of logos suck. It's like 95% of logos are just terrible, right?
Yeah, right.
Which is okay. We all start somewhere. Frankly, you're not going to, listen, the logo is not going to change the way that your business works, right? So
Correct. Correct.
then she got started. So you got to get started. So I don't know. Let's say I just got off the phone with a realtor. So maybe we talk, or but I don't know. What's a good logo to create? Maybe I'm a birthday planner. Let's say I'm a kid's birthday planner, for example.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Okay.
So I'll start by kind of telling it I'm a kid's birthday planner and I want to rebrand. I'm just going to start it very simple. Let's see where things go. And the longer our prompts, the more accurate and the more effective they're going to be. But so it's going to give us it's going to add. So this is what I'm talking about with the GPT. The GPT is going to walk the user through the experience.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
And I could do this. I could get there on my own. But it's a lot easier if the AI bot is walking us through the steps. It's just like when I walk into your print shop, right? You say, hey, Mark, what are you looking to create? What is it
Right.
for? What's the
Mm-hmm.
vibe? Do you need, what type of material are we looking at? It's going to walk us through the steps instead of me having to do all the work on the background. So, what would you say here? How do we want the logo to be? I would say, let's say vibrant.
Okay.
Vibrant. I mean,
Are you typing in there? I don't see where you're typing in there, but maybe Guillermo, can you see that?
oh, you cannot see here.
No.
Let me share
No.
my screen again. I'll share my window here. All right. All right.
So, but there's a prompt there that you're giving that information to.
Yep. So I came in here. I said, I'm a kid's birthday planner and I want to rebrand. Logo creator. This is the GPT. This is the AI chatbot that someone has created within the Chat GPT system, which is after you're a pro member, you can make a ton of these for free.
Okay.
And it's prompting us. It's saying, I told I'm a kid's birthday planner. I said, okay, great. Let me ask you some questions so we can get started on creating your business logo. Okay, great choice for kids' birthday planning business. Now, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you like the logo to be in terms of design complexity, where 1 is extremely simple and 10 is extremely detailed? What do you think, Meryl?
Okay. I'm going to say simple.
Simple. So we'll go maybe 2 on a scale from 1 to 10. Very
Okay.
simple.
Okay. Yeah, let's do basic. Let's see what happens.
Understood. A clean and simple design it is. Next, what color palette would you prefer for your logo?
Pastels.
Pastels, green and lavender. Is that good?
That's good.
And you can see
Personally, I like bright colors, but that's okay.
that's fair. And what's also interesting here is you can see that every time we tell it something, it's giving us another question. It's leading us to our logo design. Pastel green and lavender will make for a lovely soft color scheme. One last question before we proceed. Would you like to generate one single logo design or 9 different logo designs at once?
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's do 9. Let's go for it.
Yeah, we want options, right?
Absolutely.
And so I just type B, and now it's going to kind of work in the background, right?
Gotcha.
Uh-oh, what's happening here? I encountered some logos. I'm trying to generate the logos for your kid's birthday plan and business. Unfortunately, I won't be able to create designs at the moment. What do you think? Are you satisfied with the logo? No, I'm not satisfied. You didn't do what you're supposed to do. Let's try to regenerate. Sometimes these things can time out.
Okay. Guillermo, you just had a birthday party for Mateo. Did you have a logo for him?
Actually, I did.
Okay.
And how'd you create the logo?
Dinosaurs. I created it myself.
Nice. Now, have you been playing with any of these tools? Like Midjourney or?
I play a lot with Midjourney and with the Firefly, the Adobe image generator.
Very cool.
Yeah, ChatGPT, only the ChatGPT 3, the free version. I have to use a VPN so I can use it here in Venezuela.
Gotcha. And one of the places where I think that creating AI images shine is when you, as the business owner, create like the basic, and then you can send it to a graphic editor to clean it up and make it look more professional and more nice, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that's us actually. We're we can do all. Oh, nice. Okay.
I mean,
so
that's awesome.
It's given us 9 options instantly, and maybe one of these we like,
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, they spelled birthday wrong in the first one. I do see that. Birthday. The others, they spelled it correct. That's kind of unusual.
Well, one of the things that I found is it's not unusual to get some weird stuff when you were generating these, which is why I think it helps to have someone like a graphic designer like Guillermo who can kind of clean it up, right? Like, what is Planius? What is that even?
I don't know. But I like the ideas. I mean, I think what's super popular is the one on the upper right. Like if I was picking this, I would pick either that one on the upper right, the one on the middle left, and with the kind of like abstract design in it, and the one on the middle right. I love those 3 designs. I think those are kind of cool. Like,
so you like this one,
my birthday party,
this one, and this one?
With I didn't see where you're pointing. One. The upper right, the one that looks like a cat. The middle row, the left, and the middle row, the right.
Yeah. And so, we're going to keep kind of going through this exercise. There's a couple of different things we could do here. One thing we could do is say, wow, I love this top right design. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like crop out this section. I don't like this font, so I'll just send my graphic designer can put new font, or the MakeATeeOnline has a tool where I can maybe add some font. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you can take pieces, but coming up with this type of image might take a long time.
Oh yeah.
But now just by using a GPT, it's easy.
So you can actually go on like a Zoom call with a customer and ask for their ideas, put it into this process, and instantly give them ideas on what they want for their item that we're going to print for them.
Right. And
wow.
Just to be clear, there's ways that you can do this before even ever getting on a call with someone too.
Right.
That's
Right.
why I think that it's really cool to have these, develop our own GPTs. There's some strengths and weaknesses, but
Hmm.
by being able to walk someone through this process without getting on the phone with them, you can build a more scalable model. Or if you want to do a more professional consulting style session, you can do something like this just over the phone,
Right. Right. This is incredible. So, can we do it? Can we do a test right now on something?
Yeah, but I just want to take this one step
Okay.
further,
Okay.
because what you might say here is you say, you know what? I really like the top right?
Hmm.
But I think we can make it better. So we can say something like, I like the design on the top right. Can you make it again, but more simple? Let's
Okay.
also try different pastel colors. Maybe the green and pink. I don't want, maybe I want to try different pastel color. And so you can kind of keep iterating and going down, going down the line here. It's like, and now it's asking, well, what kind of pastel colors do you want? I'm saying, you choose, just go ahead and choose it for me. Right. And it's gonna, again, we can kind of continue to iterate until we find the perfect design. Um, by the way, super fun to do this with your kids too. My kids
Uh-huh.
love when we do chat GPT images. Um, it's just really cool. Let's design. Okay, so it's being a little bit difficult here. This is another thing that I can do. If I know I really like this picture, I can actually save this to my computer. All right.
Okay.
And then what I can do,
What kind of file are you saving it as? Is it coming in as a JPEG or a PNG or?
PNG.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
And so what I can do is I can actually upload this image. So, maybe I see a logo around town or a t-shirt. I'm like, wow, that is awesome. I'd love to do something like that. Or maybe I'd like to rethink that, because the other thing that can happen when you're trying to create something from scratch is you don't really know where to start.
Mhm.
So one of the things I like to do is say, well, what are some designs or banners or logos that I really like? And then I can feed them into the chat bot and say, can you reinvent something that's in this type of style? Right? Can you use this as inspiration to design something new and fresh that's maybe aligned with these types of styles, right? But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this PNG of this image because we really like the top right. Say, I really like this image. Could you reimagine it in a more simple format? Because the problem that I have with this image is it's still a little bit complicated. I mean, if it's
Yeah.
for one birthday party, that's fine, but it's gonna be really hard for it's a little bit complicated, you know?
Okay.
And especially within logos, I think less is more when it comes to logos for business, but we want it to be like really, really simple, something that I could just draw, you know, like like Target is just 3 circles. Like that's the logo. So the more simple our logo is, the more memorable it is. This to me, anyway, that's my personal preference, but um so let's see if it how it did here. Apologize. I'm just going to ask it, so sometimes it'll error out and I'm just going to hit refresh to see if it'll do it again. And we'll see. You got to double, and this is important. We always have to double check the work that AI gives us, because you can clearly see that it misspelled planning. It has 2 eyes. This is not uncommon. It's by the way, I think this is going to get a lot better, but AI still struggles with misspellings and images and stuff. So just like with anything we do with AI, we always want to make sure we're double checking it, right? So it rethought it. This does not look less complicated to me. It is cute. I mean,
Yeah.
this is just where things are going. It's so easy to create these stunning images, and the better we are at inputting the right prompts, the better our results are going to be. So anyway, you can see we can kind of keep going through this process. Let me see if there's a way that I can save it.
Yeah, I would like to know if there's a way you can save it without the background, so it can give you a full PNG.
Yeah, well, there'd be a way to remove background, right? I just want to see if it'll let me save it in
apps right now that can do that.
Right. Save image as, it's only going to let me save it as a WP. Anyway, interesting way to easily, quickly create logos. And I've been really impressed with the ability to create different things. And you know, again, we're working through a specific GPT, but it doesn't even need to be that specific. I could start, and you know this, Guillermo, I'll sit with my kids and be like, you know, you want a t-shirt for baseball, right? You want a t-shirt for baseball? Cool. Let's make t-shirts for the team, right?
Right.
And say, what's the name of our team? We're the Giants, right? Make or I like to use the term design an image of a dinosaur. Or we're the Giants. We'll use of a giant playing. Here's again just another quick example. You know, if I want to design T-shirts for my kids' baseball team, and I could just, this is Chat GPT. I'm not in any special GPT. This is just the raw thing. I go design an image of a giant playing baseball for a kid's baseball team. Right? And what's it doing here? Okay, what's it doing? Is an AI? Well,
And this you have to have the paid version to be able to do this, correct? Okay.
Right. And I need to be making sure I'm using Chat GPT 4, which is where you're out with the Pro. So let's see. Generate. For my kids' baseball team.
So you're maybe this would be like a template or something, or do you have to give the baseball team a name? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
I know, like on our web stores, we sometimes when you go to some of the bigger custom apparel shops, they have, you know, what you would call like templates, let's say. So a template would come up where there's maybe like 6 different choices for soccer, for baseball, for lacrosse, for whatever. And I know a lot of people with our software are always kind of like looking for options for artwork for the customer. So when they log on, it's easy. You know, you click on soccer and you get the soccer templates. You click on baseball, you get the baseball templates. So I'm assuming this would be a good opportunity to maybe ask ChatGPT for some templates, that customizable templates. Okay.
For sure. I mean, I don't know why it's giving me a hard time right now. Let's try it again. Typically, if you get an error, you just hit the refresh, it'll go. Let's give it one more try.
Does this help with keywords? How important are keywords on your websites for marketing?
Pretty important. Now I'm getting some error messages here, which is obviously great for our demo. But anyway, this often will work. I might just have to come back to it in a few minutes. So it certainly can help with keywords. I find that the best way to do keyword research is using a couple sites like the Google Keyword Planner tool, which is free. Answerthepublic.com is a great tool. These show you, because so let's talk about keywords for a moment, right? So what does that even mean? What's a keyword? A keyword is a way of indexing your website so that when people type in a certain term, your website pulls up, right? So if I type in print a t-shirt, MakeATeeOnline is coming up. MakeATeeOnline.com comes up. So what we want to do is we want to think about who's our audience, who's our customer, and what are they typing into Google? What are they typing into Google so that I make sure I show up for that term? And we want to have a term that's very broad, that has a large search volume, but there's not a lot of competition for. So that's essentially what we're talking about with keywords. And then we add those keywords to our headers, to our footers. We're adding it into blog articles. We're adding it into the back end, et cetera. So obviously keywords are very important, because if you want to show up on Google, you need to have the right keywords. But I guess what we could do here is let's use that birthday business still, and we can kind of start to develop our keyword process. We'll start here in ChatGPT. So I'm opening a birthday planning business. We will specialize in kids' birthdays. We serve a South Florida market in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. What keywords should I try to rank for on my website? And again, this is always the best place to start, I think, is just asking and see what we get. Just simply asking ChatGPT is a big deal. So, and this is why I think this is why I think that AI is not necessarily going to replace people immediately, but what it's going to do is it's going to allow people that are good at what they do to become highly productive. Because what I see here when I'm looking at keywords, I just think that these keywords are too long, right? So I might want to break it down to look for smaller keywords. But you can also see here, it says, it's telling you exactly what I just told you. Use tools like Keyword Planner, SEMrush, or Ahrefs to identify keywords, right? So it's kind of giving you the information you need to actually build out your own keywords, right? Can you go ahead?
I saw a video on TikTok, I think, or Instagram, I don't know, that there is a trick that you can ask the ChatGPT to. So, for example, I'm creating a birthday business. You can tell the ChatGPT, ask me anything you need to know, so you can help me in a better way to creating specific keywords. So ChatGPT will give you 20 questions about the business, and after he got all the answers, he will give you specific keywords for
Interesting.
business.
So he prompted ChatGPT to ask him questions.
Yeah. So you ask ChatGPT to ask you questions about your business. In that way, it will give you a better answer and better results.
That's a really cool I haven't actually thought about that. Let's test that. That's cool. I want to find my website keywords. Would you ask me questions to determine the best keywords to rank for? I actually haven't done this before, but this is an interesting way of approaching it.
So I guess I try with my LinkedIn profile. So I asked ChatGPT to know me better and ask me those personal questions about me and my whole career, and then he will give me a short brief about myself, and it was really accurate. I mean,
that's cool. Yeah. Again, I haven't, and that's one of the things that you can do with creating a GPT, which we went through, is it'll walk you through the exact steps of actually doing that. My keyword process is a little deeper. Like this is just, these are too generic, I
Yeah.
think, to your point. But I think kind of thinking about these questions, and the better we were able to answer these questions, the more accurate it would be. But I still think working with someone who's using Google Keyword Planner and using SEMrush and understanding that, well, they're going to be, the agencies that know what they're doing and can actually use tools like ChatGPT are going to become much more effective. That's the way I kind of seeing it playing out. I want to try something here, though. I know Meryl's having some technical difficulties, though.
Yeah.
But we created what I think is a pretty interesting logo. I just want to see how it looks when we add it to MakeATeeOnline.com. So if I hit the Start Designing button here, and I want to add the design. So I'm going to upload the image here from this screenshot. Again, this isn't perfect because we're kind of moving quickly here. But I'm interested to see what this looks like. I own the rights. And then that image that we created, we can just like, we can just upload it straight there. Again, I need to kind of clip it out a little bit differently to make it look good. And we would need to add text over this probably. So, anyway, that's just a really cool way to easily make t-shirts, and put these like really cool designs that you can make right in ChatGPT. I really wanted to make this baseball team logo too. Make me an image of a T-Rex playing baseball. My kids love doing this stuff, by the way, because I can sit with them, and then being able to like turn it into a T-shirt. Like my kids would just die. I create
a whole coloring book with Midjourney about dinosaurs and stuff for my kids.
Yeah, and there's different programs. If it's not going to do it for me here in ChatGPT, there's another program I like to use. I haven't been using Midjourney a lot, but they're definitely an industry leader. Playing baseball. Come on.
So now that we know about how to create images and how to get the designs and everything, how can we use the ChatGPT for marketing purposes? How can we start marketing our our business online? I don't know, social media planning and all that stuff.
Oof. Well, I mean, marketing is a huge meatball to unpack,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think, the more clear you are on who you serve and the problem that you solve that is the key. And then it's just finding a unique way to like slap people in the face and say, hey, I have your solution, So, again, first getting clear on who you serve and the problem that you solve for them is level one. But then you want to think about, well, what makes me unique? What makes me different? Is it because I use AI to make it a unique experience? Is it the technology I'm using? Is it my unique experiences? Is it the clothes that I wear that I stand out? There's a reason why, actors and like where Usher was going on the Super Bowl, he's wearing like this giant mirror diamond shirt, right? Because he wants to stand out. So the thing with AI is the better your input, the better your output, good in, good out. So the more clear you are on who you serve, their problem, the unique way that you can solve their problem, the better your results will be. And then, one of the things that I try to do with marketing in particular is try to say stuff that is kind of like bombastic. Like maybe I'm talking about a big data or a big piece of a big statistic or a percentage, or, maybe I take something that everyone believes is true and I say it's not true, and this is why, so it's marketing is a lot about being clear on those things, standing out. And then most of all, I think in the day and age we're living in is, and we talked about this in the beginning with your website, when someone finds you, they should know immediately what it is you do. The longer it takes for you to explain what you do, the harder it's going to be to sell.
Let me ask you, Mark, let's talk about like what you do and how you could help other people that have web stores or have online merchandise businesses, or how you could integrate what you do into what we do. There's the apparel industry is huge, in the billions of dollars, whether it's the manufacturers that actually create the blank products, whether it's the people that make the ink that we're printing with, whether it's the equipment that we print with, you're talking about the presses, or whether it is the people with the brands, or whether it's the people that do the custom stuff. So there's a huge variety of this, and the DIY, the moms at home. I'm saying moms that sound, but anybody at home doing DIY. I'm a little old fashioned.
My mom or my wife loves to cricket.
Like
she loves
cricket
to
on
cricket.
steroids for what we do. So I mean, they're awesome. They're awesome. Those machines are great. So what could you do for people like us that are probably the more professional in the industry to get our brand, our message, our business out to other people?
Well, the problem that I solve is visibility. I make businesses visible, and I do that by launching and automating podcasts. When I'm working with a business owner or even hobbyists typically, but mainly business owners, I say, listen, I just need you to hop on a Zoom call with an interesting person for 20 minutes a week. Maybe that's the mayor of your town. Maybe that's a local business owner. Maybe it's the real estate magnate. Maybe it's the artist down the street, right? Maybe it's a local celebrity. When I launched my first podcast, I had a Super Bowl champion on my show within a month. So people are, nice. You are able to get people into your atmosphere more easily when you have a podcast, when you have a platform. So what I do is I automate the whole process so that you show up for 20 minutes a week, you fill out a form. It takes about 2 minutes to fill out a form after your interview. And then we create all the micro content. We post it to YouTube. We're getting your blog set up, your email set up, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your TikTok. We just create that entire media presence. And this is kind of a funny, this happens to me pretty regularly. Someone reaches out. This happened to me just last month. I get a DM on LinkedIn. This person says, "Hey, Mark, I've been following you for a year and a half, and I want to start a podcast. I'm ready now." Okay, let's go. And that's kind of what happens is when someone is ready to do something, who are they going to work with? Are they going to work with the person that they met a year and a half ago and they haven't talked to since? No, they're going to work with the person that's showing up in their social media feed day in, day out. And that's where the podcast plays in, because if you can hop on a 20-minute Zoom call with someone once a week, you can have an omnipresent.
You need. It's almost like a podcast is the new blog, right? Because it used to be blogs were the way. Now it's podcasting is live, getting information, right there.
Exactly. Well, and the podcast is the best format because it's easily repurposed, right? I can turn an entire conversation into a blog. So you have the blog aspect still. The current form of the internet is social media, and the way the social media, the way you get eyeballs is with vertical short form video. Mm-hmm. So your podcast can do that too. And I just find it's, most people want to be online. They just, I just don't want to be, I want to be online. I just don't want to put in all that time and effort into posting on all these platforms every day. You don't have to if you can show up to a 20-minute Zoom call. And so that's what I do for business owners. I give them the visibility across all these platforms all the time. And then again, have the marketing emails and automated systems on the back end, so you can turn your guests into sales, or you can turn your guests into referral partners, depending on your strategies. So we set up the email automations on the back end to
So one thing that
make sure that all
I
that's
talk
running
about a
too.
lot, and I kind of like really kind of present this a lot when we do our apparel masterminds class, is that you have to advertise. You have to. If even the biggest stores in the world, like let's say Target, Walmart, they're you see them on television all the time. So you think like, well, why does anybody have to advertise Walmart? It's right there. They've customers 24/7, but they're still advertising. Well, they're doing that for a reason, because out of sight, out of mind. And social media is really media. It's not, I mean, all media is social media because it all interacts you. So, so that's a good tagline. All media is social media. And so having a podcast, they get to see you, which is kind of like they know you, they trust you. So if you go into Walmart, you recognize Walmart, you feel safe there. You're going to buy something, you return it, you don't like it, whatever, but you feel safe there. If you go into, say, Macy's, or you go into Publix, or whatever it is that's advertising on TV, you're a little more hesitant about going into some place that is not easily recognized. So
I agree.
I love
I agree.
I love the idea of podcasts. Well, that's why we started one, to get out to the community that doesn't even realize it's not that hard to do. Yeah, my internet kept going out, but all this information that you gave is like 4 years of college in an hour. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, it just starts with just spending 10 minutes a day in ChatGPT and playing around. Like Guillermo taught me a new thing about how to prompt ChatGPT. So we're learning all the time, but yeah, in this world where things are moving so fast, the podcast helps you to go deeper with people, and all the content that you're able to pump out. Because people get it twisted. People think, well, I want to grow my podcast, so I'm going to share on social media, but that's not the way that you grow the podcast. You have a podcast so that you could grow your social media. You have a podcast that you can show up and your podcast promotes your social media. Your social media doesn't promote your podcast. That's not the way that it works. So I think that is profound, because most business owners know that we need to be online. We know we need to be on social media. We know we need to do it. We've hired our daughter's friend or our nephew, because he's on social media all the time. I'll just let him or her manage it. That doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work. Sorry. But what does work is saying I'll commit to 30 minutes once a week to connect with someone who's interesting. I have all these automations in place, so I'm going to stay connected to that person, and then I'll let the team over at Mark Savant Media handle all the repurposing and the content distribution, so that I can focus on what I do best, and I know that I'm showing up everywhere every day. And that's
so Mark, when
that
you
is the
do
problem
that
that
for
we
a
solve.
customer, and let's just say that they choke when they're on air, like they don't know what to say, they don't do the right thing. What do you help them to get over that fear of talking live, really?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's growth that goes into hosting a podcast. Sometimes stuff like that happens. I don't do a lot of live recording, live meaning it's when I'm saying it, it's going out to YouTube or Twitch immediately. I've done some live, but I prefer doing pre-recorded, because then if there's, a mess up, the host can just, in that Google form, just say, hey, about halfway through, I lose my train of thought. Can you clean that up? And then we can clean it up and it looks and sounds great, Or if maybe this is another thing that commonly happens, is after the interview is over, the guest will say, hey, I talked about some sensitive information in there. Can you remove that part?
So you do all the editing.
Sure, no problem.
You do all the editing. They don't have to worry about anything. They just get on and talk for 20 minutes a week about their product or service and everything. That's cool.
That's
cool.
it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Everybody who's listening, you need stuff like this to grow your business, or to even maintain your business. Even if you don't want to grow your business, you want to maintain your business. Or if you're starting a business, the best way to get out there is to be seen. Right?
Yes. need to be seen. You need to be developing relationships and building know, like, and trust with your audience. And that's where
Let me ask you
the
one more
podcast format
question
really shines.
before we go. And of course, I'm going to talk about t-shirts because that's what we do. Could we ask AI and get an honest answer, something that we can use in our daily work? If they know any trends that are going to happen in the apparel industry, which is forward thinking.
So I think that you could, but there's some limitations, Meryl. You know, a lot of these AI models, ChatGPT, for example, isn't trained on, like, it doesn't know what happened yesterday. It's trained up to, I want to say March of 2023. I don't know the exact date. It might be April 2023. But anything that's happened since that last training point, it's not going to be aware of. It will be aware of inputs that users have put into it. So you shouldn't be putting sensitive personal information or trade secrets into these chatbots. You know, but the better, and this is why, and Guillermo and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, the better we know our industry, the better our results will be, right? Which is why I think that this turns experts to, it's going to make experts in a field very, very efficient, because you're going to be able to say to ChatGPT, this is what I'm seeing in the industry right now. Like, people are wearing long sleeve. They don't like V-necks. They're wearing all kinds of crazy colors. What should we do to stay ahead of it? And I think that is where AI really shines, is you're an expert in your industry. You can give AI your initial thoughts and then ask it to predict like what's coming next.
Got it.
You know, so Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl and everyone's talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. How might that impact apparel? Right. I mean, it's just kind of a vague example, but the better you know your industry, the better prompts you're going to give the AI platform, and the better results you'll get back.
Right. So it's not a crutch. It's a helper. Got it. Mark.
Yeah.
It will be a crutch for many people.
Yeah.
Which, and this is one of the, I don't want to go way off here, but this is what AI does. It cuts out all the middle in an industry. The experts become hyper efficient because now I can get great prompts out of it because I know what to ask it. I know the information that I need to give it so that it gives me a great result back. Experts become very efficient. Hey, ChatGPT, here's a 30-page document. Can you read it and give me the summary? Right? All of a sudden it makes you very efficient. It also makes people at the very bottom pretty experienced, because I can just say, AI, you know, ChatGPT, act as my apparel professional, and what do I need to know to start my own professional apparel business? And it'll say, well, you need to think about all these different things. So the stuff that would have taken years to figure out, now ChatGPT can summarize very quickly for my exact circumstance. So the people at the bottom are elevated higher to the top. So what you do is you have experts, you have beginners, but all the people in the middle kind of get shifted out because the people at the bottom are able to do what they were doing at a lower cost.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the years of experience that were needed to get to the expert are not. So it becomes an interesting dynamic where you're going to have the top of the market and the bottom of the market, and all of the middle is going to get kind of pushed out.
Got it. All right. Well, on that note, Guillermo, do you have any following questions, any follow-up for Mark before we close?
No, just what are we talking about? I mean, for the common people, AI could be like a little bit overwhelming, not to know where to start. I think today we know how, and I'm a little bit more clear. I know how to use it to make my website better in the future.
Nice. Mark, how do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can email me, mark@marksavantmedia.com. That's probably the best way. Mark Savant Media all around the web. I'm everywhere because I have a podcast and I'm able to be everywhere all the time at once, even when I'm sleeping. I'm everywhere.
Awesome. Or you can ask me, because I've got his number.
You could go to Merrill too. It's all good.
And Mark, your podcast is After Hours.
After Hours Entrepreneur.
After Hours Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneurs.
So Mark and I actually met at a art festival a couple years ago. He came over with his kids, and we're going to have that art festival coming up again soon on March 16th and 17th. So that was kind of neat. That was a great meeting, and Mark is a great guy. He has a lot of energy, and everybody that he meets has all positive things to say. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I was actually talking about you yesterday to some people from the Parkland Chamber.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I've really liked the chamber, and yeah, I just try to show
Yeah,
up.
we have a great community here, and I'm really proud to be a member of this community. And I really love sharing everything with everybody and getting everybody on our Spill the Tea and our apparel masterminds. And Mark, I really want to thank you. I'm sorry my internet cut out a little bit here sometimes, but this was really informative. And whoever listens to this podcast, I hope you share it with everybody, and that we get all our names out, and that we take all of this information very seriously, because this is our future. So
Well said.
so thank you, Mark, for spilling the tea with us. And today is also Tuesday, Dudes Day at MakeATeeOnline. So all the dudes that come in get a Dudes Day t-shirt today. And Mark, I'm going to have to give you one.
Hey now.
When I see you. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Mark, for being in this episode with Guillermo and I on Spill the Tea.
Thank you.